Now that we've reviewed district expectations, including the use of the academic grading scale and learner characteristic grading scale, let's go ahead and start entering grades. Once you're in PowerTeacher Pro, you'll see a list on the left in the blue ribbon of different sections of PowerTeacher Pro. On the top is the list of your courses, and on the right is the term of year that you are in. Please make sure that this term is always set to the correct term in which you are giving grades. For the example of this video, we're setting this to Q4. From the top menu bar, choose the academic class in which you want to give grades. I'm going to start with ELA. Once you've selected your ELA grade level course, click on A+ grading on the left, and underneath grades, go to standards. As a reminder, our K-2 report cards are standards based. The standards on these report cards do not change for every quarter or progress report. They stay the same over time. In order to give grades on report cards, you will see the standards groups listed as separate columns. In this video, please be aware that for English Language Arts, the standards listed are the old ELA standards. Please note, using this chart on the right, that each grade level will have updated standards showing the updated strands, including Foundations of Literacy, Applications of Reading, Research, Written and Oral Communications. These 4 areas will be the 4 columns that you see in your report cards for ELA. Each grade level, K-2, have updated standards in these 4 strands. Again, the number of standards may differ, and the number of strands will differ from old report cards as we went from 5 strands to 4. So again, please note that the columns here in ELA courses for K1 and 2 will match the number of columns and the names of columns as on the updated report cards for the year 24-25. Now that I'm back in my PowerTeacher Pro gradebook, please note that I am in an ELA course. District requirements are that students are enrolled in an ELA course and no additional sections of reading. Due to updated ELA standards from the state, reading is a part of multiple strands, so instead of giving a separate grade for a reading and ELA course, all students should be enrolled in just an ELA course. If you see a reading course as a K-2 teacher on your drop-down, please reach out to your school's data specialist to talk about having this section removed. Now that we've talked about the differences for ELA courses in this video compared to the standards that you will see on your report card moving forward, let's go ahead and talk about how to give grades. Once I am in my course and on the standards page, I will see a list of student names on the left and columns with the standard areas on the right. If you hover over any of these column names, they will tell you the strand or group of standards and then the specific standards within that strand. However, if you notice, it can be really hard to read what those words say. So here's my first hint. Go to the first student on your list and click in the cell underneath their first column. Once you do that, click on the Show More button. Once the Show More button opens, you will now see under Description a description of all of the standards that that student is being assessed on in that particular strand or column. You can click on any other column to see the description change for the standards associated with that strand. So let's go back to our first student in the first strand to give them an ELA grade. Now that I have clicked on this cell for this column, On my grade calculator to the right, I see only a few options. These options correlate to the district grading academic scale: 4, 3, 2, 1, and NA. In this cell, you can either type in a number or click on the calculator to add a grade for this student. Many people question, however, what the 4, 3, 2, 1 means. And here's a great hint as to how to see the grading scale again. Now that you've clicked on Show More and see a description, click on Grade Scale. This grade scale screen will now show a description for what a 4, 3, 2, 1, and NA is. No percent value will be shown on any report cards. Only a grade label of 4, 3, 2, 1, or NA. So again, based on the quarter you are in, give a student a grade of a 4, 3, 2, 1, or NA. District expectation is that 3 is meeting expectations, 4 is exceeding, 2 is approaching, and 1 is not yet. For Richard, I'm going to give him a 3, so I'm going to use my grade calculator. Once I enter in a score, you will notice a little corner triangle appears to show that I entered or made changes to this cell. I can then click on Save to save this score one student at a time, or click Save after I've completed multiple entries at once. Once I'm done with this column, I can go to the next column, and for my description, look at the top to see how this student should be graded. I'll now enter a 2 for this student. Again, click Save once you are done. On this grade calculator, there are some other options for these scores. You can choose to mark a column as incomplete or exempt. This will do two things. Incomplete will put a blue box and be a visual reminder to you as the teacher that their work was incomplete. Exempt changes the color of the number to a different color. However, both of these are just for the teacher as they will not display on the report card. District expectation is that every progress report in every quarter, a student will have something in one of these boxes that is a 4, 3, 2, 1, or an NA if the student has not taught that particular strand of standards at that time. So now that I've done 2 grades for this student, let's look at the fill down and fill across. The fill across button can be used to fill in any empty scores for a student that have no triangle that have not received scores yet. So let's say Richard should receive a 2 also for this strand of ELA and the next 2. If I click on the 2 I just entered and fill across, it will update all empty boxes with a 2. I can also use the fill down button. If I choose my standard 1, my strand 1, and want everyone below Richard to get a 3 who has an empty box with no triangle, I can click on my 3 and then choose fill down. This will update any boxes with an empty score with the number 3. Notice that these students down here that already had information in their boxes, thus the triangle in the corner, did not receive any scores with the fill up or down. Now that my grades are correct, I'm going to make sure to save. So now that I finished my ELA grades, from this top drop down, I'm going to go to my math grades. Now that I'm in my math grade book, I can click on a student, and again the score calculator will come up. And I can hover over columns to see the names, or I can click on Show More to see a description of the standards that are graded for each of these math standards. These math standards align with the standards that are listed on report cards and are found in 4 different domains: number sense and base 10, algebraic thinking and operations, geometry, measurement, and data analysis. Students must receive a grade of 4, 3, 2, 1, or NA in each of these columns. Just like in the previous video, you can use the score calculator and make sure to save grades at the end. Now that I'm done with my math grades, I can go to science. And you notice in science, there is only one column. That is because on report cards, we have only one box or group of science standards. There are multiple science standards within that group, but only one group. So again, if I go to a student box and click Show More, this will show me the 4 science standards for this grade level. After I've entered my science grades, I can then go to social studies. Just like science, social studies only has one column. Use Show More, and underneath description, I can now see the 4 social studies standards for this grade. As a reminder, these standards do not change by progress report or quarter. Also, as a reminder, you can always click on grade scale for the 4, 3, 2, 1 academic grade scale listing. Once I've entered my grades for social studies, I've completed the 4 main academic areas as a general education teacher: ELA, math, science, and social studies. You will also see health as a course on your drop-down list from this screen. It is a district requirement that you are assigned a course of health in PowerSchool, but you do not need to add grades to health, and health grades will not appear on report cards for grades K through 2, even if you enter grades. For those teachers who are special area teachers, it is a district requirement that grades are entered as well. So let's go to a PE teacher. This PE teacher of kindergarten will have a list of students on the left and one column for grades. If I click on this student's box, you will notice the grading scale for related arts is the same as the academic grading scale. In order to see what standards are associated with this grade's PE, I can click on Show More, and it shows me these are kindergarten physical education standards. The district does not have a set number or type of standards for related arts courses that must be graded. Instead, the requirement is that a grade is given to students using this grade scale for related arts classes every progress report and report card. Related arts teachers can use the fill button either up and down, just like in other classes, and as always, need to click Save as well. As a general education teacher, we've walked through making sure you have grades for ELA, math, science, social studies. We've made sure to talk about how there should not be a reading course listed here. We've also talked about how you'll see a health course listed here, but no grades are required for health. And we also reviewed giving grades as a special area teacher with PE. At this point, your academic grades are entered on your report cards.